Hello everyone, my name is Bob Micah, and it's getting to be that time of year when we're all getting ready to fly to Oshkosh and participate in the Fisk procedure. There are many videos that you should be familiar with of flying the Fisk procedure and understanding what it's like to go there, especially for first-timers. Especially helpful are those that have the audio of the air traffic control so that you can understand what it's like and what kind of environment you'll be flying into. It's not that difficult to fly. It needs a lot of organization and a lot of pre-flighting. The most important is to be familiar with the NOTAM that is published and is now out in both booklet form and as a download so that you can print it off in PDF. I'd like to share with you today a few tricks that I've learned. I've flown the Fisk procedure starting in 1978 when it was a little bit simpler, and I've flown it 12 times now, 9 of which in my Sonics solo. To do that, I had to have some cockpit organization so that I wouldn't be overloaded with information and keeping my eyes out of the cockpit as much as possible. To do that, I purchased a 3-ring binder with little plastic sleeves on the outside so that I could slide information in there. Right now I have the frequency page from the NOTAM, the current frequency page. The frequencies change from time to time. I only found one frequency change this year. It was Green Bay Radio, which I've never used. But that's on the outside of my notebook. The other thing that I purchased was plastic sleeves for the sheets that I printed off on my computer. You can see here is the 2025 NOTAM that I have. I've printed off all the applicable sheets for a VFR arrival. There's different sheets for IFR, seaplane, ultralight. All of those are in the NOTAM, and you should actually be aware of those, especially the ultralights, as you'll be flying around ultralights and over the top of them. So I would give that a look just so that you know where the ultralights are going to be, and so you won't be surprised if you see something that's underneath you. The way I organize this is I do it sequentially. So here's just the cover page. This is your pre-flight information. This shows you where you can print off your little sheets that you use for ground control. We'll go over that a little bit later. Then it starts with all the waypoint information, you know, from Endeavor Bridge on into Fisk. Then here's a page with the details of each one that you can reference. You really shouldn't have to reference this too bad, or too much, but it helps to have it right here so that if you do need to look at it, you can look at it with ease. Then you've got the Fisk arrival page and the Fisk information. Next, you have the holding patterns that you might have to go through and circle the different lakes. Finally, after you get your runway assignment when the Fisk at the Fisk turnoff, I have each one of the landing patterns for each one of the runways, all 4 of those. They're right here. And then finally, some general information on the dots and how much space there is. After you land and you're marshaled and you're ready to leave, then the next page is your departure information. Notice that there's different frequencies for each of the runways when you depart. So you may be thinking you're going to go on 18 and you might go on 27. But here's the frequencies for that. Now, speaking of frequencies, if you have a radio that has memory, you should take and load in all of the frequencies in a sequential order. My radio had 99 memories, and so from memory number 1 and up to like 7 or so, I had my local frequencies that I used on a day-to-day basis. However, on 99 was airport information for Oshkosh. 98 was Fisk. 97 was 1836. 96 was 927, and so forth. I loaded all of the frequencies in my thing, so all I had to do was click between frequencies. That helps you quite a bit. Again, it's another thing that you don't have to look inside the cockpit, you just click another frequency. If you don't have a radio that has memories, then you make a little card like this, which is part of the frequency list. You just make a little card like this. All this is just printer paper with some packing tape on it, and you can affix that near your radio so that you can manually put in your frequencies. Really, the only frequency that you have to flip pretty fast is if Fisk hands you off to 1836. Then you have to do it about 30 seconds. 927, you've got probably a minute before you need to flip frequencies as you follow the railroad tracks into Oshkosh. After you land, you'll be directed by the ground personnel, and you'll need to put a information sheet in your window. Again, this is in a plastic sleeve so it doesn't blow around, especially Cessnas with their great ventilation up at the top tends to blow around paper. If you put it in a plastic sleeve like this, it won't blow around, and it's got very tactile, and you can move it from side to side because sometimes you'll need to do that in your airplane. This is very, very handy. On the back side, this is your VFR departure that you have to do when you depart. You have to put in VFR, or if it's IFR, but in this case it's VFR. You put that in your window or your canopy, and that's another thing that you can do. Having this in your cockpit and organized like this in a sequential order is very, very handy, and it keeps all your information from blowing around, and it's in a nice sequence. Even if you're flying with a co-pilot, this is very handy for them because they will have reference material right at their fingertips that won't blow around. They don't have to fold papers over. You'll see in some of the excellent videos that the people are fumbling around with the NOTAM, and it's not very conducive to keeping your eyes out the windows, which is what you need to do. That's all I have today. I hope this helps. I'll see you at Oshkosh, and I'm excited to see all of my friends there again, and safe flying. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.